Hey kids, Miss Kulkarni here. In this video, we will talk about valence electrons. So what are those? How do we identify valence electrons and how they are helpful in chemical bonds? Now if you remember, in electron configuration, we learned that there are different sublevels for every orbital, and they are called as S, P, D and F. Out of all of those, only S and P electrons are considered as valence electrons, not the D or not the F orbitals. I take the example of bank. As if our money is in bank, electrons are like the money which we invest in bank. And in case if we have a saving account in the bank, that is like S orbital. If checking account is there, that we call as P orbital. And then we have D and F as fixed deposit, maybe short term and little bit long term fixed deposit. Remember, we can always withdraw or deposit money into both savings and checking account, but we cannot easily withdraw or deposit money in fixed deposit. Same goes with electron configuration. We can easily withdraw the electrons from S and P, and we can actually add if we want in those orbitals, but not easily from D and F. So now you got it, why S and P are considered as valence electrons. Now we also use one more term as oxidation number. This depends upon electrons lost or gained, and that gives a particular charge to the element when it turns into an ion. You will also remember the positive ion is called as cation and a negative ion is called as an anion. When we look at periodic table, there are some easy rules by which we can predict if it's going to form a cation or an anion, and also what is the charge on that ion going to be. Group number 1 will always have NS1 as the electron configuration. That means only one electron is present. Using the octet rule, it's going to lose that one electron and it will form a positive 1 ion. Group number 2 will have NS2 as the electron configuration. That means there are 2 electrons classified as valence electron. Obviously, it's easy for the element, for the atom to lose the electrons, and it will form positive 2 charge because it's going to lose 2 electrons. When it comes to group 13, same way, it will be NS2 and NP1. That will give rise to 3 valence electron, and it will lose 3 electrons, forming positive 3 charge. When it comes to 14, remember it's halfway. We get 2 electrons from S and 2 from P. It has got 4 valence electron, and it does get a little tricky. It is halfway from 8, so it can gain the electron. If it gains, it will form negative 4 charge. It can also lose all 4 and it will form positive 4, and sometimes it may only lose the 2 electrons from P orbital, giving rise to positive 2 ion there. Group number 15, what do we have? We have NS2 and NP3. That gives rise to 5 valence electron. This is closer to 8, so most probably it is going to gain 3 electrons and therefore it will form negative 3. But there are some elements which may decide to lose all 5 or lose partially only P orbital electrons 3. So it may give plus 3 or plus 5 also as different charges. Group number 16, we get NS2 and NP4, giving rise to 6 valence electron. It is much closer to make an octet by gaining 2 electrons. So we end up having a negative 2 anion. Group number 17 will have 2 electrons from S and 5 from P. The total 7 valence electrons. So it's going to gain 1 electron and form a -1 as a charge. And even though we don't have group 18 over here, I want to just explain to you, group 18 will have NS2 and NP6. It will have 8 valence electron and 8 has the octet complete. So in fact, it will not try to lose or gain any electrons and no ions will be formed. And because noble gases do not gain or lose any electrons, they have 0 as the oxidation state, or charge will be 0. Let's talk about some weird elements, and those are called as transition metals. These are d block elements and they sometimes behave differently. Just like from fixed deposit, we cannot withdraw any money unless there is emergency. So if that happens, these elements may withdraw some electrons from d orbitals or maybe not. So we are going to only memorize 3 elements for our class. Zinc will have +2, cadmium will have +2 as the charge, and silver will always have +1 as the charge. Let's go back and find out how can we predict the oxidation number or charge on an ion by using periodic table. The first step is to identify the element and locate it on the periodic table. Let's say maybe I have an element which is right over here. That comes in group number 1. And if it's group number 1, we know the charge is +1. Then let's say maybe we have an element somewhere in group number 2. Group number 2 will always have a charge +2. So here is a complete picture of periodic table with charges. And your job will be just to look at the element, find out which group that element belongs to, and you can predict the charges present on those ions. So is that simple? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you again in next video. Until then, bye bye.